Prince Charles and Prince Harry could be quizzed as witnesses in a cash for honours investigation launched by Scotland Yard. The Prince of Wales and his former right-hand man Michael Fawcett were reported to police over a Saudi billionaire who made donations to royal charities, allegedly after he was promised a knighthood and British citizenship. In a move which could heap further misery on the Queen and royal family, the Metropolitan Police today announced it had launched a probe. The Prince of Wales, who presented Mahfouz Murray Mubarak bin Mahfouz with an honorary title at a private ceremony at Buckingham Palace in 2016, has denied knowledge of the alleged deal. The investigation emerged amid calls for transparency about Prince Andrew's £12 million civil case settlement. The Queen helped Prince Andrew settle the claim by making a £2 million donation to his abuse accusers charity. But negation questions were still being asked about whether public money was used. Her Majesty was today seen for the first time since her COVID scare last week, at an engagement at Windsor Castle. Standing with a walking stick, she pointed to her left leg or foot, and said, "Well, as you can see, I can't move." Tonight a source close to Charles confirmed the future king is willing to speak to police to help the investigation. They said, "There has been no request for help from the police so far, but if he is asked to help he will of course do so." The allegations center around negation businessman Mr Mahfouz donating £1.5 million to restoration projects of particular interest to Prince Charles. Mr Fawcett, who has since quit as chief executive of Charles's charity, is alleged to have negotiated with fixers to secure a CBE for the Saudi who was said to be seeking recognition and residency in the UK in return for financial contributions to the Prince's foundation. Prince Harry met Mr Mahfouz in 2013 and was pictured shaking hands with the billionaire who donated £50,000 to his charity. In December, the Sunday Times revealed that the pair met at a pub in Chelsea, West London, owned by Marko Dyer, a former royal equerry known as Harry's second father, who is said to have brokered the introduction in 2013. They reportedly discussed Sentebale, a charity Harry set up after a gap year in Lesotho, southern Africa. In response to the report, the Duke of Sussex issued a rare statement saying he had severed his ties with Mr Mahfouz. A spokeswoman for Prince Harry said, "The Duke and his advisors, as well as his non-profit Sentebale, severed ties with Mr Mahfouz and his associates in 2015, no longer accepting further donations to Sentebale and discontinuing any plans for a fundraising event amid growing concerns over his motives." The Duke had one planned meeting with this donor nearly 8 years ago, did not introduce him to any members of the royal family, and expressed concerns about the donor. Harry did not say what he believed Mahfouz's motives were, or specify whether he shared his concerns with Charles or Clarence House. Despite the denials, former Met Detective Sergeant Steve Morris said, "Both Prince Charles and Prince Harry should be questioned without a doubt. It is all part of the investigation, how the donor got to where he is within the charity, that is vital evidence to show the picture of how he has allegedly infiltrated the charity. They should both be spoken to at the very least as witnesses. It would involve officers going to their address, or them being invited to a police station to give what's called a Section 9 statement, purely as a witness at this moment in time. Charles is president of the foundation but thought not to be involved with its governance or with trustees overseeing its day-to-day activities." A Clarence House spokesman said, "The Prince of Wales had no knowledge of the alleged offer of honours or British citizenship on the basis of donation to his charities." The Met is understood to have arranged an investigating team after Pressure Group Republic contacted Scotland Yard last September and reported Charles and Mr Fawcett on suspicion of breaching the Honours, Prevention of Abuses, Act 1925. At the time Clarence House said the Prince had no knowledge of the alleged cash for honours scandal. Former BBC royal correspondent Peter Hunt tweeted, "This has the potential to be very challenging for Prince Charles. For decades, Michael Fawcett was one of his most powerful confidants. If their investigation is to be negation credible, the Met Police will have to interview the future king in the same way they would any other citizen." Another news, HBO TV bosses made the decision to pull the plug on the controversial cartoon titled The Prince, which had previously been slammed for giving a satirical look into the life of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's eldest son George. Daily Mail diary editor and staunch critic of the Sussexes, Richard Eden took a swipe at Harry when reacting to the news on Twitter. The journalist tweeted, "Something for Prince Harry to discuss with his Montecito neighbor Orlando Bloom. #Royal." Mr. Eden makes reference to the actor as the Pirates of the Caribbean star voiced the Duke of Sussex in the show. Many royal fans rejoiced at the news, with some criticizing the show, despite the fact it had never been aired in the UK. A fan account for William and Kate called the Cambridges wrote, So happy that awful cartoon was cancelled. It should never have aired anyway. Another added, good. It was a bad show. While a third wrote, I should think so too. It was insulting.